Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. I just got back from skiing with a bunch of zombies YouTubers and patch notes have dropped literally as I got in the door. Like my suitcase is still behind me. So we're going to take a look at the patch and some other news that's coming out today. I will say I'm going to be a little bit more kind of chill in this video just because I've had food poisoning or something like that and it's been horrible. So I'm not feeling very good. So we're going to just kind of keep it low key. So before we get into the patch itself, there's a few other little stories from the last week that would be worth mentioning. Number one is that DMZ appears to be the returning third game mode in COD 2026. So COD 2025 is going to be developed by Treyarch, and then in the following year, we're going to see COD 2026 with DMZ back. And also on top of that, there's currently rumors, again, from the Ghost of Hope here, that it might be PvP again, or it might just be PvE. And I've seen a few different reactions to this. Here's one from JGod saying that it could be amazing PvE only, but it would only work if the game played like Destiny with complex challenges, mechanics, and reasons to grind loot. There is zero chance COD could provide the support it would need, so PvPvE makes more sense, but six man's ruined it in the last one. And I think that that's a pretty fair comment, right? The six-man issue really did seem to plague the end of the life cycle for DMZ. And I think I'm also in agreement that if it was just going to be PvE, it really would need a lot more interesting stuff to actually keep you playing. Like it kind of sounds like they're almost like, well, can we just make DMZ Outbreak, but with Outbreak losing all of the zombies aura that it has, it would be a really boring mode, I think. So I don't think it would work. So yeah, I mean, it would need the Destiny complexity, or yeah, just keep it PvPvE in my opinion. Another thing that happened actually a couple weeks ago now, but I think it's worth mentioning since we're talking about future Call of Duty titles beyond Treyarch's next game in 2025, is that Greg Reisdorf has left Sledgehammer. And this is pretty big news. Greg's been at Sledge for 15 years. He's done a bunch of work on the different games. He actually tweeted this really cool thread of different stuff that he worked on. And it's not necessarily a great sign, right? To see really senior management at Sledge leaving when I feel like Call of Duty's non-Treyarch future is a little bit uncertain. So yeah, I'm wishing Greg the best by all means. And I'm also hoping that's not too destabilizing for the Sledgehammer team. Now, another thing that's happened this week is we've obviously got the first teaser for the Tomb, and then we had the 60-second trailer for the Tomb. And I actually haven't watched the trailer yet because I've been food poisoned. I've just been trying to recover. But just for the teaser specifically, I thought this was quite an interesting tweet. Kingman tweeted saying that the teaser didn't really spark his interest and it just focused too much on, hey, remember this? Yeah, it's coming back and we have no new ideas. And it's funny, like when the PPSH is being touted as this big returning thing and the ice staff and stuff like that, I'm curious to get your opinions. Do you love seeing those and do you get excited about those returning features? Or would you be more excited if it was actually just a completely new wonder weapon, for example? Like, does the nostalgia value exceed the novel value of something new? I feel like that's sort of different for different people. So let me know your thoughts below. Oh, my stomach hurts. God damn. All right, well, this was a tweet that I thought was really funny. And really, actually, it's just the post itself is really funny. So this is the Atlanta Phase YouTube channel. And if we just click into this here, we're just gonna react to this for a sec.
Why does every zombie burn while you survive? Well,
why?
Throughout the rounds, the zombies you kill release a gas that rises into the atmosphere.
Okay.
A toxic cloud that awaits a trigger.
Wow.
The nuke is that trigger, sending a lightning strike into the cloud, igniting all gas in the air, causing a reaction that's only lethal to undead flesh.
Bro, why is Atlanta Phase posting that? Like, Ethers here, you can kind of not see it under my camera, but Ethers is saying, get them out of here. It's not even putting new eyes on zombies, it's just misinformation. I actually think this is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a funny post. I mean, this next bit goes on to talk about like Janus stock.
How about double points? When you bought BO6 for $70, half of it was invested into Project Janus stock. When Janus spikes in value, it rewards shareholders in the form of double points power up. Like,
what are they doing? Like, honestly, I rate it. So Atlanta Phase, please keep making these because this is the kind of nonsense that I appreciate. You know, there's not a lot out there that I can stomach in my life. There's not a lot I can stomach right now at all because of my stomach bug. But this is possible, dude. I think we need more silly stuff like this. Like, yeah, it's misinformation, but it's funny. So I thought that would be worth sharing. Give some love to the Atlanta Phase team for creating this absolute work of art. And speaking of really weird places where zombies is appearing, but it just shouldn't be, Bob Network tweeted this out, and bro, this video confuses me so much.
Why did Richtofen need the Gersh device?
I fuck with Kanye.
What was that?
Why did Richtofen need the Gersh device?
I don't know none of that shit that you just said. What is that?
The Gersh device?
Yeah, why did Richtofen need the Gersh device?
I don't know.
It was a crucial component in his plan to access and manipulate the Dark Aether.
I gotta look that up on Google.
Ah, what is happening here? Did I go on a flight home from the ski trip and land in some kind of alternate reality? Like, what is this? Why did Richtofen need the go? I'm going to start asking that to just people in my daily life. I'm going to be ordering a coffee. I'll be like, just on the side here, just real quick while you're taking my order. Why did Richtofen need the Gush device? Hey, maybe that's a video. I'm confused, but if I had to see this, so do you. Why did Richtofen need the Gush device, guys? Okay, enough with the silly stuff. Onto the patch here. So there's a few things that are worth pointing out in the sort of global section, specifically relating to new attachments. So these sound pretty cool. There's a crossbow attachment within the battle pass. There are explosive bolts and they detonate shortly after impact. So awful Lawton vibes might be returning. Maybe, we'll see. There's an AEK full auto mod and a Tanto binary trigger. And there's new operators coming as well. And obviously those carry over to all modes. So that's worth paying some attention to. There's also an anti-cheat update here. They say, as previously discussed in our recent community update blog, we're ramping up our fight against cheaters across multiplayer and Warzone with new security measures deploying throughout the coming seasons. Updates include enhanced detection models for behaviors like aimbotting, stricter account trust and hardware identification to target repeat offenders, and new tools to combat dishonest behavior such as playing with cheaters or attempting to spam report innocent players. We're also focusing on more precise tools, including major upgrades to the kernel level anti-cheat and server-side systems starting this season and continuing into season 3. And this is interesting wording, right? Because they're saying we are focusing on the tools, and that's including major upgrades to the kernel level anti-cheat driver, but it doesn't really talk about the implementation. It's just like they are focusing on it. So I suspect that this is still going to be a problem for a little while longer, to be honest. That they say these measures combined with ongoing improvements and legal actions against cheat sellers aim to deliver a more secure and enjoyable experience for everyone. We've just got to wait and see on this. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's all talk until it actually happens. And their track record has been so bad this year that we will see. There's Battle Pass stuff, but honestly, I just don't want to cover Battle Pass stuff right now. It just doesn't feel right when the game is in as broken a state as it is, or at least has been for certain people. A pretty big global change is the new challenge tracker, which we've already heard about a little bit, but it's got some more detail here. They say, we know our challenge chasers have been asking for the ability to track challenges. We've been hard at work to add that functionality with season 2. The challenge tracker makes it easy for players to manually track up to 10 camo and 10 calling card challenges they're actively working towards, but there's another element of the system that we think players will find useful on the journey to Dark Matter, Nebula, and 100%er, near completion. Players who don't manually fill their tracked challenge lists will see challenges auto-populate that they're close to completing, make it easy to discover challenges you might not be aware of yet, or give you a goal to go after in your next match. That's really cool. That is a really cool feature. I want to give them a big thumbs up for that. Those challenges can be seen in the lobby by cycling the daily challenge widget, and from that view, you can enter each challenge type's tracked and near complete list to see the full list of tracked and near complete challenges. Cool. Great job, Treyarch. That's a really awesome change. They also say they've seen feedback from players about how the 250 plus unique special camos in BO6 are underutilized because of the current equip requirement, and we feel the same way. Currently, we see a very limited window of time where special camos get equipped, after all of one mode's military camos have been unlocked, but before players have unlocked gold camo or beyond. In season 2, we'll be changing the equip requirement to give players the ability to equip their unlocked special camos earlier in each weapon's camo journey, while still preserving a short on-ramp of first needing to unlock 5 military camos that we feel is important to the new weapon journey. In MP, this means that specials can now be accessed after 30 headshots instead of 100, but getting to 5 military camos unlocked can also be done across all 3 modes if desired. Cool. Again, that seems like a positive change, something that would have been nice to see in season 1, perhaps, but again, it's good, it's positive. They've also added favorites only filters to the friends list. Player mic indicators will now appear when viewing the party channel. Sort by progression and sort by rank will now display. The applicable level or rank icons in the friends list, and dark ops calling cards that you haven't unlocked yet yourself will no longer appear as classified when viewed in another player's calling card showcase. Okay, that's just like a visual fix. Cool. Now, in the multiplayer section here, they mention a few times the idea of having global changes, and it's weird because like this is a global change, but it's an improvement to the weapon motion reduction on dexterity, which you obviously don't get in zombies. So just as some feedback to the Treyarch team, it would be nice if you just avoided using the global language unless you really mean something to be global. For example, it's a little unclear with magazine attachment changes, for example, when you say another large-scale change is speeding up fast mag reload times. Okay, we're in the multiplayer section, but you're calling it large-scale. Does that mean it carries over to zombies? I think some better, more precise wording here would be beneficial to everybody's understanding. And we'll have to test tomorrow whether or not these fast mags have changed in zombies or if it's only been changed in multiplayer. And to be clear, like I know that they've already kind of couched this with the fact that it's the multiplayer section. It's just the fact that they're saying global changes that will affect all weapons. And I'm like, okay. It just adds a little bit of doubt in my mind, you know? Anyway, let's get on to zombies. I still think this screenshot is so nice. It's such a cool shot, man. I just love the glow. It looks so good. So there's actually a ton of changes here that we can go through. Like, there's a lot of changes in zombies. So in Citadel, they've addressed a server stability issue that could occur when zombies continue to spawn when no players were present during active incantation ritual. They've also addressed a rare issue where players could be downed during the main quest outro. Ooh, that would suck. They've addressed an issue where the Guardian could get stuck between phases longer than intended. Thank God. That's been a problem for so long now, and I've seen so many people that get to the boss, they're super excited, they're getting through the boss damage phases, and then the boss just stands there in the middle like an NPC. Well, I guess it is an NPC. It just stands there just waiting, but doing nothing. So I'm glad to hear that that is now being fixed. The problem with these patch notes is that there have been so many instances where they say they fixed something and then they actually haven't fixed it. So like to some extent, just keep bug reporting to me, sending me tweets and stuff, letting me know if these issues do end up persisting, but at least at face value, this is a good sign. They've addressed an invulnerability exploit when using Nowhere But There. They've addressed an issue where the Mystic Orb could be placed again after opening the secret study. They've disabled the option to fast travel when voting to final encounter to prevent players from getting stuck. They've addressed an issue where loading a save after opening the castle doors would repair some environmental damage caused by the cannon. Okay. They've addressed some more locations in the dungeon where the lightning rod dropped by the zombie carrying it could be unreachable. See, that's an example of how before I was like, that's great that they fixed this, but then people were like, bro, I'm still getting stuck. Like the lightning rod is still stuck for me. So glad to see Treyarch continuing to pay attention to that. They've addressed an issue where the welding torch would clip into the nearby crate, an issue where being hit by the cannon could activate the Dying Wish augment for quick revive, an issue where vermin would continue to spawn each round if the player had gone down during Maya's revenge quest. I've had that happen, so glad that's finally fixed. An issue that prevented Maya's revenge quest from ending properly where a player uses the Nowhere But There Gobblegum to exit the event. An issue where interacting with the radio, then dying, would prevent entry into Maya's revenge side quest. Craft will no longer have a blood effect when being punched with Melee Macchiato. Why? That just sounds funny. Okay, whatever. Adjust an issue causing the Compact 92 wall buy interact to be offset. Is that a ... for a reason? I feel like that's like a sassy ... They're like, it was offset, but like, I can't believe you guys care about this. No, I'm sure it's just a typo. They've addressed some visual issues when looking out the tavern windows, addressed some visual issues when on the ramparts, improved lighting near Jug to avoid a tripping hazard. Huh, okay. Cool. Addressed an issue where players could get stuck getting through the east entrance to the town square. An issue where zombies could climb through the railings to get on the tavern stairs. Addressed an issue where joining in progress would not highlight the locks on the Pack-a-Punch crate. And an issue that caused parasites to clip into the wall when exiting a spawn closet in the hillside ramparts. So overall, are these massive, massive changes to the Citadel? No. I'd say they're all pretty tame changes, actually. There's one or two in here that are a bigger deal than others, but for the most part, yeah, it's pretty chill. And so, yeah, there's some sort of bigger issues that I think still do remain with the map, but overall, it's certainly in a much better place than it was a couple of weeks ago. And so I commend the progress there. We need more of that, and we need it sooner next time. And hopefully we won't have the same issues with the tomb, but next for the training course, they've addressed an issue where players could not buy a weapon a second time at Station 5, and armor will now be reset when starting Station 5 to prevent the player from being blocked from continuing if they'd already purchased Tier 2 armor. I tried the training course. It was fine, I guess. I'd love to see some numbers on how many people are actually using it and how many people are then converting into zombies players afterwards. That would be a really cool stat for Treyarch to share in a couple of months, maybe. On Terminus, they've addressed an issue where an amalgam could get stuck in the spawn during exfil, another issue where the tactical raft could become stuck on a pillar when piloting near the boss arena, another issue that caused reticles on certain weapons to change position after using the oscillation calibrator, another issue with a floating shovel on Castle Rock Island. Weird. Another issue that prevented the node connection repair interface from appearing during split screen games, and an issue that caused missing geometry in the sea caves after loading a save file. Now, I'm still waiting on the change to Terminus where if you're using tap to interact, you can get off the bombs and you don't have to stay on the bomb the entire time during Apocalypse Protocol. I'd love you guys to let me know, is that still a problem? Because if you're holding to interact, I know it's fine, but I haven't played Terminus on tap to interact recently, so I haven't tested that specific issue. But if that's still there, I would love that to be fixed. I've just got a chip on my shoulder about that one issue because it ruins some of my speedruns. On Liberty, they've addressed an issue that causes a loss of functionality when a bowling event is started while holding a sentry turret. Classic zombies community. Going bowling while holding a turret, dude. And they've addressed an issue with the ether canister visual screen VFX while the player is on a ladder. Cool, so some very small changes to Liberty. Then in directed mode, they've addressed an issue where the crafting table menu could remain open when dying at round cap, and automatic exfil will now begin after the current round ends instead of immediately. Finally, automatic exfil has been adjusted to trigger after 6 hours instead of 5. So they brought it down to 5, I think, because They just knew that people were going to be farming forever, and they were like, well, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe we should cap it out. And so for it to be 6 now feels like an improvement, I think, for directed mode grinders. So that's cool. In general, they've closed an exploit when disconnecting right as the player died would keep your save game, and addressed an issue where joining after being kicked for AFK could give the player 2 of the same gobblegum. Also in gameplay, players who are kicked for inactivity in co-op games will have their loadout, essence, and salvage restored upon rejoining the match. And this means that this is now the way that we are going to change augments in co-op, because it's giving you all your stuff back, your loadout, your essence, and your salvage. Like, what else do you need? It sounds like a very easy way to switch augments, so I'm very glad that this is being introduced. In weapons, they've addressed an issue where single fire mode would not count towards slaughter medals. They've added a warning for players when purchasing a wall buy if it will replace one of their current weapons, and addressed an issue where interacting with quest objects with long hold times would reload the held weapon when using a controller. Oh, that's so good! Yes, okay, so this is a similar issue to the one where in Apocalypse Protocol, you can't get off the bombs. It's a similar kind of problem because, for example, you would have tap to interact on, and you would run over to the valve in the bowling alley in Liberty Falls. And if you had ammo used up in your current magazine and you tried to tap to interact with the wall, it would cancel the interaction because you would start reloading. Or maybe that wasn't tap to interact. Maybe that was on hold. Either way, that would happen. So you'd have to fully reload and then go up to it and hold square, which was just annoying. So I'm really glad that that's been fixed, actually. It's something that I thought would never get changed. So thank you, Treyarch. That's really awesome. In perks, Ether Shroud's been adjusted. The Ether Dash augment now prevents players from being stuck in unintended locations. Interesting. Is that to prevent people from getting out of bounds, or is that to prevent people from just getting stuck? TBD, I guess. For PhD Flopper, they've improved Slider to work with omnidirectional slides. Cool. For field upgrades, Tesla Storm's static discharge has been changed. They've addressed an issue where kills from static discharge would not award essence to the player. Nice. They've addressed an issue with the chopper gunner where the player could continue to shoot the chopper gunner weapon after the streak had ended. That's pretty funny. They've addressed a hand cannon issue where attempting to pick up an ether tool while wielding a hand cannon would consume the tool without applying it to a weapon. In loot, they've addressed an issue where intel for Obscurus Attilium was not unlocked after completing the Citadel Daemon main quest. At last, bro. 2 entire months after the map came out, we are finally getting the ability to 100% the intel on that map. That is very good news. That's been an annoying bug ever since it came out, just for the completionists in me. So that's really great stuff. And they've added Season 1 reloaded weapons to the mystery box, which is no surprise. In enemies, for the Amalgam, they've addressed an issue where rarely the player would be let go immediately after being grabbed. Oh, I thought that was like an interrupt. I thought that was on purpose. That's a shame, but oh well. And in Vermin, they've addressed an issue where Vermin could hit twice with one attack. Let's hope this time it's the actual fix, because it wasn't the fix last time, so let's hope they actually remember to include it this time. And Vermin will now ragdoll properly in the air when killed mid-leap, which sounds like that should be pretty funny as well. For SAM trials, they've addressed an issue where crafted score streaks would be removed at the end of a trial if they match the one used for the trial. They've scaled the hand cannon trial time based on the current round up to 100 seconds at round 31 plus, and they've addressed an issue preventing SAM trials from being completed in split screen. Great. In Gobblegums, Dead Drop, Modified Chaos, and Cracknarok are now available via in-game Gobblegum drops and the Season 2 Battle Pass. They've addressed an issue where restocked Gobblegums would not be immediately available for use. They've addressed an issue where the exit strategy Gobblegum would not be usable when the exfil radio was present. And they've addressed an exploit that allowed players to keep timer-based Gobblegums after they've been consumed, which they've been trying to address since day one of this game. And the community just still finds new ways to continue to exploit over and over again. So, Godspeed Treyarch, but I doubt this will actually address the exploit. We'll see though. In challenges, for the Box Addict Dark Ops challenge, they've added a hard cap of 37 different weapons required, which matches the amount at launch, so that weapons added post-launch do not increase the difficulty of the challenge. That's conscientious of them. For Gladiator, they will now track for exfils at or above round 11. For dailies, they've addressed an issue where the Get Zombie Eliminations with Pistols challenge could be progressed with Brain Rot kills. For Surveyor, the random perk power-up now applies progress to the challenge as well. And in UI, God, there's a lot of random stuff in this patch, man, which is good, but like, holy moly, this is long patch notes. Players will now see an in-game notification when they complete an augment research step and unlock a new augment. That's a really good quality of life bonus, or boost, or improvement. So thank you, Treyarch. They've addressed an issue where the elemental swords would be vertical in the Wonder Weapon preview. They've aligned the Gobblegum prompt in-game. They've updated the in-game pause menu augments research progress, along with other visual improvements. Awesome. They've added visual improvements to boss HP bars. Can't wait to see what that looks like. They've addressed an issue where placeholders would appear momentarily when entering the audio logs in the Intel menu for the first time. They added a location to view cinematics in the Intel menu. Nice. The Gobblegum HUD widget will now be hidden while spectating. They've addressed an issue that allowed damage feedback to remain active during in-game cinematics. They've improved visual information when editing Gobblegum packs. They've addressed incorrect navigation button text in the Intel menu, and HUD presets can now be set separately for zombies and multiplayer. That is great news. Next, in graphics, they've addressed an issue in third person where elemental sword effects would be misaligned when attacking, an issue with the Soleil elemental sword where the visual effects on the charged ability would play longer than the actual effect, an issue where the glow effects from the crown would persist after dying and respawning, and a typo on the soda cans inside the stamina machine. Bro, that is such a niche thing to fix. A typo on the soda cans inside the stamina machine. Wow. And they've removed fire effects from vermin legs when arachnophobia mode is toggled. And that's the end of the post. I mean, this is a pretty meaty patch. It feels like it's meaty, but it's a lot of small changes and small tweaks. And while there are one or two things in there that do excite me, it's all going to really come down to how good the tomb is. And right now I feel like hype is a little low for this map compared to some of the previous maps. And I think part of that is just that people haven't really been happy with the state of the game over the last month. And so a lot of people have just been playing Marvel Rivals instead. So I'm hoping that the tomb can bring some zombies hype back, and I'll obviously be streaming it on launch with my upset stomach hopefully not bothering me too much. So thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go shower now and unpack my bags and stuff from all the travel that I've just done in the last 12 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow for the tomb.